Good morning, seventh graders. Since I'm not here today, the directions here for the lab that you're going to work on are contained in this video. Make sure before we even begin that if you did not hit the turn in button for the homework for the natural selection evolution lab with the build a fish, the moths, and the peppered moths and all those, make sure you do that first. Get that turned in so that it's not late. I'm going to check the date or the timestamp of when it gets turned in. So if it's not within the first 10 minutes of class, I'm counting it late for you. So make sure you get that done. For the lab today, you can work with one other person if you want to, or you can work on your own. Even if you are working with one other person today, you need to make sure that both of you are completing the doc. The doc, of course, is on Google Classroom. It's on the same link as this video. On the doc itself, it has a link to the website we're going to use, but everyone needs to have their own. You are not going to finish this today. There is a save option, and I'll show you what to do with the save option here in a moment so that we can come back tomorrow and finish it in class tomorrow. You should be able to get through a good chunk of it, though, today, as that's all we're doing is working on this today. So if you want to come back and look at this at any time you can, I'm going to go to a screen capture here so that you can see what the document looks like and what the website looks like as I give you directions, and then we'll go for there. Just make sure that you don't just go to the website and try to figure this out on your own, because there are some very important things that if you don't read them or follow the directions correctly, you're going to have all kinds of stuff wrong and you're going to have to start all over again, and that's going to put you way behind on this activity. All right, so make sure you're listening to this entire video. All right, so let's take a look at the document and what it is, the website looks like for what you're going to do today. Okay, so here's the doc for you for the Natural Selection Lab. Like I said, it has the link up here for you to use, and it has directions on here too. So make sure you're reading through those. Okay, but I'm just going to kind of summarize really quickly what it is that you're going to do. So when you click on the site, okay, make sure you read this beginning. This is important. It's explaining to you what is happening. So make sure you go through, make sure you read that. Lots of things are going to pop up that you need to make sure that you read. Don't just hit the next and think that you're going to be able to figure it out. You need to make sure that you're reading. All right, so after you read that, you're here. What they want you to do is to select and make 3 birds, okay, that are going to live in the Southwest environment. So here's the Southwest environment, and here's what is available. Okay, you cannot select and change what's available. They're telling you what's in the Southwest environment. So if you put your cursor over and just kind of hover over, it's going to talk to you about a little bit of each of the characteristics of the supplies or the materials and the predators and things in the Southwest environment of our island. Then you go through and you pick 3 birds. You pick the color, their body size, and their beaks. And I'm just going to go really quickly. If you want to take your time a little bit with this and focus a little bit more on what you're doing, that's fine. But I'm just going to go, really quickly. I just did that 3 different times. All right, so after you get all 3 things down, then you go ahead and hit next bird. My bad. Okay. Again, make sure you read through all of this stuff. I'm going quickly for the video, but you need to make sure you read through all this stuff, okay? It's going to tell you what's happening, what's going on, so that you understand what will happen. Right here, they want you, as it says there in bold, to make predictions of how well you think the 3 birds you created are going to fit and survive in this environment. So that's where you go back here, and I have that section right here. Those are... right here. This is where you make the predictions. Up here is where you write in the information that they gave you on the right side, where I was showing you where you hover over and it tells you about the seeds that are available, the insects that are available, the nectar that's available to eat, the predators, the foliage, all those things. Here's where you do your predictions, and make sure you give a Y, okay? All right, and then you go ahead and start. And what it's going to do is, before you start, make sure you read this. This is telling you how to understand and read this part. That's going to be really important, okay? So don't fly through that. Read that closely. All right, once you start, you're going to see how fast here the years go, all the way up 50,000 years. It'll stop automatically at 50,000 years. It's going to show you your number of birds, okay? And it's going to tell you if there was a mutation. Okay? A mutation just means that a trait changed in your birds, in the offsprings of the birds, that was passed on to future generations. So it gave what the mutation is. So down on my chart, I now say how many birds the population is for each one. Right? And notes are the mutation. So now I'm going to say which bird got mutated and what the mutation was over here. So it's something like bird 2 had a beak mutation that shortened right? Okay, up here, make sure again you have the birds what their starting characteristics were, and make sure you have the starting characteristics here so that you don't forget. Okay, resume. It takes you through another 50,000 years. This guy's gone. This bird's extinct, no longer living. This type of bird. Right? Here's another mutation. So I'm going back to my chart, filling in that information. It'll take you all the way through 500,000 years. After you get all that data, you and your partner discuss, or if you're working on your own, you don't have to discuss, but you're just going to go through and you're going to explain which characteristics you think caused the population to increase, if that's what happened, or decrease, if that's what happens. And you should have at least one sentence for each bird. Okay? All right, and then as you go on, you're going to see that's going to take you to new places of the island where the environments might change and the food sources might change and all of those things. And you're just going to keep going through the same process and seeing what happens with it. So just make sure that as you're going through, get done as much as you can. And then you'll notice in the top right corner, there is a saved button. If you hit saved and put your name or something on there, okay, it's really easy when we come back to the site tomorrow to just open up the doc and just continue where you are. This is not homework. We will work on it again tomorrow. Make sure that if you choose to work with a partner, that you are using your time wisely. This is one of those activities that is a 2-day activity. And if your group does not get a lot done today because you are off task, when we come back tomorrow, you're going to be really far behind. And it's going to be obvious to me that you didn't really work and stay on task. So make sure that you're working and you're choosing a partner that you're going to get work done and stay on task. Okay, I'll see you guys back tomorrow. Maybe even later today because I'll be back in the building later today. But for sure, for class tomorrow.